All right, here we go with Living End, and this hand is capable. You know why? Because it has it has cyclers and lands. That's all you look for. The deck's very straightforward in that way. That, of course, you have to have a cascade card, but in this case, we have the best one. So this is a very good opening hand right here. We can start by cycling a monstrous carabid on our first turn. Not to mention the Street Wraith. We basically hit one more land in our deck. We're going to be able to resolve the Living End off of the Violent Outbursts. And our opponent, mulliganing onto 5, is going to help us out here. And we get to be on the play. So now the thing about playing this deck is people know very quickly what you're playing. Um, as soon as we, cycle this Monster Scarabid, he's going to know what's up. But that's fine. No. Don't want to draw your Living Ends, that's for sure. That's the downside of the deck right there. I mean, you certainly do if you play this deck enough. You do win games by suspending this and then letting it come off, but hopefully we won't have to in this case. Oh, our opponent is playing Bogles. Well, this is rough for him because his Boggle gets destroyed by our Living End. Sure. Bogles, Hexproof, whatever you want to call it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and cycle into black here so we can cycle everything. Filter into black. Now, a lot of versions of this deck I've seen don't run the filter lands, but I'm super happy with Twilight Mire into a lesser extent Firelit Thicket, which you use to cast Violent Outburst. But very happy with Twilight Mire for this reason right here is, we are able to don't have to pay life if it was a Sulphur Springs or an Overgrown Tomb or anything like that. It's just very easy to do this and cycle our stuff as we want. All right, so we want to hit a land off of this here. All right, we've done it. So great. All right, we'll go ahead and shock ourselves. I'm going to go ahead and play the Fulminator Mage here. Try to get a block in on his creature. Well, that's trample, so it doesn't matter. So in that case, we may as well hit his land. As I say, we could, a lot of times you block sack, but in this case, he has a Rancor to give it trample, so it won't matter. May as well take him off the mana. As you can see, our graveyard is already loaded. It's possible we didn't even need to use the Fulminator Mage there. We may have just been able to cast Living End and win. But Fulminator Mage sort of locks it up a little more. It makes it harder for him to rebuild. Whatever hit we're going to take here in the meantime doesn't matter all that much. He might give his guy Totem Armor, but, even that's not a big deal. Our board's just going to be so huge when we untap. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and pass the turn back here. And we'll let him do whatever he's going to do. We may respond to a Totem Armor by going off, but we're just going to cycle Architects of Will and then cast Violent Outburst. The Boggle will die, and we will move forward. As a matter of fact, I suspect he'll scoop. Alright, so red, green, colorless, Violent Outburst. Here we go. Roll the dice. Oh, we hit a Living End. How lucky. Cast our Living End. Resolve our Living End. Look at the top 3 of your deck. Get our Architects of Will trigger here. Oh, what do you know? Alright, he's going to scoop. So there you go. That's the deck in a nutshell. Now, the sideboard games become much more difficult, of course. So, what do we want here? Shriek Maws don't do anything. Well, they do a little. They do very little, as a matter of fact. Not quite nothing, but not very much either. I guess Anger of the Gods might be able to catch his thing. If it's, a bunch of Rancors and not a bunch else. Default put in a couple Ingot Chewers so we can play around the hate. Always board out the Architects of Will because it's an artifact creature itself, which you do have to shoot down with an Ingot Chewer. So this is not an optional thing. So in the dark, I like boarding in a couple Chewers almost always, simply because you need to be able to interact with their sideboard cards. This hand we're just going to keep. Now the other thing, and it hasn't come up yet, but what this deck does a lot is, and this is overlooked by people when they think about the deck, Living End is not just this, bring all your creatures back from the graveyard spell. It destroys their creatures. It makes them sacrifice all their creatures. It's a wrath. And, you know, living ends creatures are all not that expensive. I mean, this is a 3/4 for 5 mana. Um, but if you are able to clear away your opponent's board on turn 4, well, all of a sudden untapping into your turn 5 4/4 monstrous Carabid, um, it's actually pretty good. That's all you need to do. You just play big dumb creatures after you've wrecked their board, and you win the game because of it. So, you know, it's actually overlooked a lot of times that, but the deck does win that way. Our opponent had no turn 1 play. He will have a turn 2 play. And it's a rest in peace. Well, it's an unfortunate one since Ingature does not hit that. I will go ahead and, so we're not casting this anytime soon, may as well cycle it. Alright, so as you can see, this game going to be a little more difficult. Rest in peace, not ideal to play against. But our opponent kept that rest in peace without a, he did not have a creature. So we're not doing much, but neither is he. And we have Anger of the Gods to catch whatever he does play, unless it's, you know, unless he can make it too big all in one turn. We can at least kill that. I did was even wait to kill it, depending on what we draw here. No. I sort of want to, I mean, we can just kill it next turn. But we have turn 5 plays already. So I kind of just want to evoke to kill it. I mean, yeah, I'm going to do that, especially since we have this Anger of the Gods in hand. You know, we're not under a lot of pressure in that we need a combo, but we are under the pressure. I'm sure he has enchantments in his hand, and if he draws a creature to put them on, it could get out of our Anger of the Gods range or just bigger than our creatures. So, and if we do, you know, it would feel bad if we hold off on Ingature, he plays a Boggle, then our next turn we have to either anger it or play the Chewer and then wrath it away or anger it away anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and take care of this thing now. This is one piece of hate down. Handily, it will even get exiled thanks to his rest in peace, in case that matters. We also have the Living End in our hand to wrath his board later on. If the game, you know, gets to a point where that's possible. But we're just going to cast Deadshot Minotaurs next turn. Oh, he found one. Shriekmaw would be great right here. Fairy Macabre, not quite as much. I do feel like I have to anger this, though. An Aura Spell, he's going to draw so many cards. I mean, I kind of hate to have to do this, but that's actually worse than him just playing a Boggle for us, because we don't want him to draw cards. And, I mean, it pays off in that sense. He doesn't have anything else here. Alright, now we can start playing things to get on the board. We have a 3/4 on turn 6, very powerful. Oh, did he find something? Another Spirit Dancer, okay. And we got rid of our Shriekmaws, expecting him to draw the other half of his deck. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and play this Carabid here. It's tempting to... I'm not going to do this, and we may get punished depending on what he has. It's sort of tempting to suspend the Living End here and plan ahead for wrathing his board, but we might be able to race him, depending on what series of enchantments he has. And how aggressive he gets. If he doesn't have lifelink and he just makes a big guy, you know, we have 7 damage. I mean, we kill him in 2 turns. Thing gets really big really fast, though, and he's got a lot of cards in hand, so probably just dead. He's thinking about whether or not he wants to come in here. We have the Fairy Macabre as well. No, this has to attack. So if he decides to play defense, he can eat it, but we'd get in for 3. And he's going to play the Rancor. Okay, it's really big. Wow, okay. Alright, well. That guy has to attack, so we may as well attack with both. Hit him for 3. He might just kill us next turn, but... 1, 2, 3. Wow. So I don't have enough to... I do not have enough to cast both Fairy Macabres like I hoped. If we'd played both Fairy Macabres, we could theoretically... That would have been 7 damage, and the Violent Outburst wouldn't have been enough, so... I think we're pretty dead here. We have the Violent Outburst, the Wrath is bored. So I'm going to go Fairy Macabre. I say we're dead, I mean we're just going to have to pull the trigger on our spell. Maybe I should have done it in the first place, I'm not sure. But I'm going to go ahead and play this. And we may be able to sneak through damage, depending on what he chooses to do. We'll see. If he doesn't do anything to kill us here, I might try to get my attack in. Yeah, sure. That's fine. That's the lifelink, so that's super relevant, but he obviously won't get to do it. And then we'll untap and play another 5-drop. And hope that he has nothing in hand. Alright, well, here goes. He did have the land and the Boggle slow rolling it. Would make sense on his part. Yep. Ooh, there's the Beast Within. How fast are we dead? I don't know if we can afford to Beast Within. That rests in peace. I might play the Macabre. I think we're going to have to, though. I think we're going to have to hit another. We have 1 Living End left in the deck. I don't think we're going to have time to suspend it. So I think what I'm going to do here... Is there a reason to even play the Fairy Macabre, though? Maybe I do nothing with it. So we're going to end up Beast Withinning the Rest in Peace, cycling our Deadshot Minotaur, and hoping to find another Cascade spell. At which point we have to have a creature. If it's a demonic dread, we have to have a target, and we can't target his guy. So at that point, it will be important to have this in play. All that said, I still think we're in a lot of trouble here. But I suppose it depends on what enchantments he has. Hopefully he burns some of the good ones. Still has a million cards in hand, obviously, so that's a... Oh my gosh. Okay, that resolves. Whale. Alright. Well, we won't be doing that. What we will be doing is blowing up our own land with Living End. Or with Beast Within here. I guess this is probably the most unimportant. Get a 3/3. Attack him for 5. Put him down to 4. Play the Monstrous Carabid. and pass the turn. So he basically needs either a couple creatures or he needs a lifelink aura or something like that. That's not lifelink. Might be able to seal this game. He needs lifelink right here. Well, he had it. Alright, well, we're dead. That was very close, though. He had to have a lifelink aura. Still just don't think I want the Shriek Mons, though. And we saw, apparently he has actual infinite hate for us. Now, for 4 mana, we can just change the target of his aura. Yeah, we just need him to draw slightly fewer hate cards, I think. I mean, we could have fought through 2 that game, I think. We almost fought through 3, even. We'll see. I can't keep this, though. This deck mulligans pretty well, considering nearly all of the deckers draw spells in the form of cyclers. Yeah, keep that one on top. Well, we don't have a target for the Demonic Dread yet. I mean, this hand was not a great 6-card hand, given that it has living in a Demonic Dread with no targets yet. And our opponent has the turn 1 Boggle, but we'll see. Just going to go to get a Swamp with this. Alright, well. Now, it's possible I didn't need to use that second street right there. We could have saved it to try to beat hate later. See what our opponent does. If he doesn't have the hate card right here and we draw Violent Outburst, so we're going to win. Have a couple shots at it. This thing is currently not too scary. 4-4. Don't have a lot of turns, but we got some turns. And by that I mean maybe one more. There's a card we can cast. Yeah, maybe what we have to do. We need to go get a Blood Crypt here. Hope our opponent casts Macabre. Hope our opponent doesn't kill us, and then next turn we can untap and Demonic Dread our Macabre, and hopefully win the game from there, but it all depends on how hard he wrecks us here. Okay. I guess that's good against activated abilities. Is that what this is? Might be. I don't know. I know it shouldn't affect this Demonic Dread we're about to pull off. We should attack first. I guess, yeah, I actually misclicked on through that there. I forgot to hit control and hold priority, but after I cast this and Cascade was on the sack, I could have sacked the Macabre and exiled 0 and got it back as well. But I accidentally didn't hold control down there and lost my priority, hit F2 too fast. So we're missing out on a little bit because of that. All right, so he's still got a guy. All right, so now I'm pretty sure that the way this works is that this is an activated ability. So I can't attack with everything. I can attack with this. If I attack with everything, we actually give him a lot of outs to kill us. I can just get in there with these. And we'll go ahead and... So I think if I... We can find out if this... Okay, it is. Okay. Thought so. Yeah, so we do that at the end of his turn. Now we do have another Demonic Dread. If this gets too scary. I mean, it's possible he has some series like of cards that actually kill us. If he goes like Land, Spirit Mantle, and Rancor or something. Oh, that won't do it though. Spirit Link. Okay. I say because we can get a couple more creatures into our graveyard, and then we can cast this other Demonic Dread. Yeah. So he takes 6 here. And it's got hexproof, so I can't Demonic Dread it. Which is a thing. You can Demonic Dread just to make the creatures not block, and you can Violent Outburst just to give your creatures +1/+0. That said, I mean, he's got to throw away both of his guys to survive, so I don't really know what he's supposed to do here to beat us. And we've been sent a message. Oh, he says, thanks for a challenging match. It was a challenging match. Like, game 2 was very interesting. And we actually misclicked this game, which gives him another turn. But it doesn't matter. He has to throw away both of his guys here to survive. I guess he's got the Totem Armor to come back. I guess he might have outs to kill us. Ethereal Armor Rancor? Ethereal Armor alone adds 3, but he doesn't have... I mean, I guess maybe there was... We have to attack with everything there, I think, though. We just... In real life, we don't misplay that. We don't misclick through the Furry Macabre, and that's definitely over. But either way, there you go. That was a pretty good match.